demilitarization of American states, denied help from Russia, Japan, Canada, France, Honduras, Venezuela, Jamaica, Austria, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Greece, Hungary, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Mexico, China, South Korea, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates, and even Iran. And it's not listed here. And probably countries I haven't even mentioned. And if you look at some of these countries that have offered aid, unbelievable, because, I mean, Iran offering to send $5 million in aid and so many barrels of oil reduced at $35 a barrel. Same with Venezuela. And these are two countries that are on Bush's target list. So let's go destroy them. You know, he destroyed Iraq, and now he's got his eyes on North Korea. He's had his eyes on Syria. He's had his eyes on Iran, and now Venezuela. And some of these very countries that he's had his eyes on destroying have turned around to help Americans. And so that says a lot to us. Of course, they have to realize that the American people are not in sync with what our government thinks and does. We don't agree. 62% wanting the American troops back home from Iraq, most not even agreeing to begin with, for them to be sent over there. But what they do is back when it started, this mass unpatriotic campaign, if you were against going to war with Iraq, and they would try to shut up all the anti-war resistors with your being unpatriotic. Well, there's nothing unpatriotic about wanting to prevent people from being killed or sending our boys and girls over into a desert to be killed for nothing than a war based on lies and greed. There was no weapons of mass destruction over there. It was all for the New World Order agenda. And so there's always been resistors to that. And there's even more so now. Some of the couch potatoes are waking up. They're waking up. They're finally realizing that the conspiracy theorists aren't as crazy as the president makes it sound like we are. You know, there's actually a lot of truth to the things we've been saying, the things we've been warning about for years. And now they're finally waking up. You know, just a mere fact that he would call an entire city of American citizens refugees and refer to them as refugees offended a lot of those people, has offended a lot of people across this country. He's so out of tune with reality and the American people. During the whole time of Katrina, he was golfing and strumming guitars. The Secretary of State was in New York shopping for shoes. And so it's just ludicrous. There's no leadership in this country. And if anything, hopefully this disaster can do something about installing a governmental leadership in this country and getting rid of the regime change. I mean, all we ever hear about is regime change in Iraq and regime change in Venezuela and regime change in Iran. Well, what about the regime change that's badly needed here in America? You know. Got about 10 minutes, folks. Call me with a listener calling, comment or question, 260-356-2611. It's been a quiet night, and I didn't really know exactly what to expect tonight. Would it be a listener call-in night, be busy with the call-ins, or be one of those shows where people are just sitting back listening, making me do all the talking? And so I guess it's going to be one of those nights, but I'm not going to sit here and drudge over for the next half hour about what Bush did or didn't do. I've said enough on my blog. I've posted a lot of things on my list. One of the things I did post on the list was a picture of buses, thousands of them, in a parking lot in New Orleans. And if the mayor, Nagin, had used those buses to evacuate the citizens of New Orleans, they wouldn't be sitting in water up to their bumpers, now useless and unusable. You know, he had a 2-day mandatory evacuation before the hurricane hit, and he could have used every one of those buses to go through normal school routes throughout the cities, evacuate homes one by one, and make sure there wasn't any elderly, sick, or disabled that couldn't get out. He could have used those buses to bus people out. You know, and so there they sit, about 1,000 buses, knee-deep in water. Right, you know, up to the bumpers in water. Can't be used now. And so, like I said, there's a lot of finger-pointing going on. and a lot of blaming going on between both the local and federal levels. And there's a lot of blame to be said, but there's also a lot of accountability that's going to have to be had because, some things could have been done a lot differently that weren't done on the local level. And they want to push it off all on the federal level. And, of course, the federal level, extremely too slow on their response. Even if they felt the local officials were incompetent in handling it, should have stepped in and said, hey, we're here, we're bringing the troops, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Should have been on the phone, not waiting to see how far they were going to fall themselves in the mire before they stepped in to help. So it was uncalled for when you've got thousands and thousands of people that have died as a result, people that were alive 2, 3, and 4 days after what happened and then dying on the 5th. And so there's a lot of accountability going to be going both ways, a lot of blame going both ways. And like I said, we're not going to really have a lot of time to sit and review who should have done what, who could have done what, who's behind this. We know the hurricane itself most likely being a manipulation of HARP technology. Yeah.
You have a caller?
Okay, go ahead and put him on.
You're up, caller.
Hello, Miss Sherry.
Yes.
My name is Johnny. I'm the one that emailed you.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I actually am home this week because I'm not in New Orleans, and I didn't mean, for you to, feel sorry for me because I actually work in New Orleans and I have a trailer I put in Slidell, which was devastated. But my family lives in Monroe, Louisiana. I work down there during the week, so I'm doing fine. So just to make sure you know that.
Okay, good, because I sent you a couple emails.
I did. I saw your other one, and I tried to let you know that I tried to do what you asked me to do and get a hold of it. It was kind of strange. I went and emailed WWL-TV because I saw that they could do it now. Nagin's in Baton Rouge, and that's the mayor, and it's kind of hard to get in hold of them. And they had email places you could get to them, but that's all out right now. So I thought maybe if I just go to the only TV station that's on down there and go to them and ask them to ask that question about the people being transferred to Boston. And so I tried that, but my email came back to me and it said it was so I tried to copy it, what it said, but it's about 40 things jumped up on there and said this can't go through.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's just bad connections down there or going to the station, which their email site was.
Well, their email boxes are probably so full.
That's probably what it is.
They probably can't even get to half of them, I would imagine. But yeah, I sent you that email about the one my friend had sent me from Boston.
That's what I sent it. I tried to send it on to them and ask them to take a, is this true? And also to talk to the governor and find out if this is true. And these are wonderful people, and they don't need to be treated like this. And as a citizen here, I expect them to find out what's happening to their people and not let these people get lost. And that's what I emailed them, and I also copied your letter to them too.
Yeah, it's probably the last things on their mind right now, and you've still got search and rescue to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once they get all the people out of there, then they'll probably be able to think, okay, now we're, right now, getting the people out of there, you can see Nagin's just a complete fit. I mean, he's just in a frenzy. And you can't blame him.
Well, these people, I worked down there all my life. I was raised in Slidell, which is near there. And so, these are really wonderful people.